On the first day before class, make sure that you've visited your classroom. You want to make sure that any keys to cabinets that you might need for access to the technology that's in the classroom is available, so that you have an understanding of how the room is arranged and how it might need to be altered in order to best meet the needs of your classroom with your students. Make sure that you have the ability to have access to either markers or chalk within the classroom for work on the board. Is there an overhead projector in the room? Are these things that you have access to? Is it something that you would need assistance with in establishing a connection? How's the lighting in the room? And then, of course, what is the temperature in the room? And do you have control over the thermometer? Or the thermostat, forgive me. During class, you need to be able to introduce yourself, talk to your students about your excitement for the course, make them feel like you truly care about being there. It's important to remember that the syllabus is a contract between you and your students within the class. And so it's important that you go very carefully that first day over the syllabus and all the learning objectives that you have for them for the semester. Make sure that they've purchased their textbook and that they have an understanding of any features that the textbook might have, especially those that might be of a digital nature that they can take advantage of over the course of the semester. It's really important that you maximize your face-to-face time with your students. Try to do everything in your power to avoid ending class early. It sets somewhat of a bad precedent for students as they proceed through the class for the semester. And make sure that when you formally end class, it is a formal ending and that you go through and summarize all of the important key points that were made during the going over of key rules and syllabus issues, and to reiterate assignments that are due for the next course. After the class is completed, make sure to stay after in case individuals have questions they didn't feel comfortable addressing in front of the group. And then when you get back to your office, make sure to organize your thoughts and notes in order to prepare perhaps for next year's course. Anything that needs to be addressed or changed can be made at this time while things are fresh and recently on your mind. As you're headed into day one, there's a variety of questions that you really want to make sure that you ask yourself. One, am I energized and enthusiastic about this class? Is the classroom properly arranged for the class activities? Are the key pieces of information, such as my name, course number, and course name, written out on the board for them to be able to make sure that they know that they're in the correct classroom? Do I have an icebreaker planned? Do I have a way to start learning names so I can associate faces with an actual name? Do I have a way to gather information on student backgrounds and interests, expectations for the course? Is the syllabus complete and clear? And of course, do I have enough copies for the students that will be in attendance? Have I outlined how students will be evaluated? Do I have announcements of information ready to be presented the day of the course? Do I have a way of gathering student feedback on the course? And then, of course, when the class is over, will students want to come back? What are you going to do in order to facilitate their desire to come back for the next course? As you're attempting to facilitate discussions with your students, make sure that you want to talk to them perhaps about common experiences that you and they might share. You can also start discussions with a controversy to elicit challenge and to elicit heated discussions. And then, of course, you can always start discussions using questions. But, of course, the principal idea is that you're wanting to engage students. And students are very attracted to enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is a definite signal that a topic is worthy of their attention and their study. By varying your tone, pitch, volume, and pace, you are able to emphasize the material with your voice and use this powerful tool in order to delineate between new and important information, and of course to keep students' information as they're proceeding through the course. Eye contact is a very powerful tool as well, and it helps to use students' names while the course is going on so that they can feel a part of the course and that they will be more involved and, of course, more motivated to learn. Research has been done in order to understand what a bad lecture would entail. And of course, the following is a list of some of the things to avoid, pitfalls to avoid when giving a lecture. being poorly organized, droning on with especially a monotonous delivery style. Going too fast or too slow will cause confusion within your students. Repeating information from the text and or previous lecture. Students who are not engaged because of the material. Making sure that you have a good solid grouping of examples will especially ones that are relevant to the lives of students. That there's a poor use of technology, and of course, just simply reading over lecture notes. On the good side, however, organized material helps keep things going within the minds of the students, that you're emphasizing key points either through intonation, voice, or within the specific PowerPoint. That the use of enthusiasm is conveyed to your students so that they feel attracted to the material that you're presenting. Active learning is a very important and integral part of your classroom, that you are specifically referring to pieces of information to which they've already had access through either text or lectures in order to scaffold the learning, but making sure that you don't rehash and repeat old information that they already have. Technology, of course, should be an important part of the use of the lecture, and then making sure that examples are used that will capture interest. 4 principles of good practice: making sure that you encourage student-faculty contact, both inside and outside of course, that you are emphasizing cooperation among the students, that active learning is engaging and an integral part of the learning process, and that, of course, as you hand out assignments and they return the work, that you're giving them prompt feedback on the work that they're doing. Making sure that time on task is of high value, that you are valuing their time and that you're able to give them proper directions on how to best use their time. Communications of high expectations. Believe me, if you show a high level of expectations, they will rise to your expectations and exceed even their own previous work in other courses. And then, of course, making sure that you have the ability to see and recognize other different ways of learning that people might have, and or maximizing the talents of the individuals within your classroom in order to allow them to shine in the classroom and allow them to have a high level of interest and engagement. Another element of the course, of course, is questions. Making sure to allow for questions to come through so that the students feel like they have somewhat of an ownership of the material that they're attempting to learn. Making sure that you very carefully consider the question prior to giving an answer, and then not being afraid to say, "I don't know." It is so much more important to be able to say and feel comfortable in saying, "I don't know, but I'll get back to you," rather than to pretend that you do know the answer to the question, or simply to skip over or ignore the question itself.